Hello friends, good morning all of you. Let's start today. So we people have started with interview techniques, and in the same we people are going to continue. So I will share the screen. Okay, all right. So somebody just reply me if my voice is audible to you clearly and the screen is visible. Is it audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So everybody just pay attention now. We people were talking about that what the interviewers they look or what preparation you should have done before interview that we people have finished. Also, we people have seen in previous class which qualities are required or which skills are required if you want to appear for an interview. Employers will look for the following some skills and abilities like communication, your teamwork, time management, presentation, and so such other skills also in previous class we people have just completed if you remember. So try to just to reconnect yourself with the previous lecture whatever we people have done. And in today's class, we people are going to begin with this topic, this slide, which says that non-verbal or body language that we people have to use at the time of interview. As you people give importance to the preparation, as you people give importance to the, let's say, uh, yes, okay, just wait 1 minute. Is it audible? Is my voice audible to you people?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now pay attention. So I was talking about as you people give importance to the preparation, communication, and everything that learning, and your people trying to find out technical skills, soft skills, etc. So you people need to give equal importance to non-verbal communication also and your body language also. So let's try to understand what is this non-verbal communication and how you can just be effective with your body language. So first of all, we people will talk about communication. So communication is of two types. And these two types, let's say, first of all, it may be verbal communication. And second one is non-verbal communication. So what is verbal communication? Can anybody tell? I think that I have explained it in previous class. So if you remember or you know it, you can then try to tell me what is verbal communication. Okay, verbal communication means the communication that we people use words. Let's try to understand. Okay. So the communication in which we people use words, that communication is called verbal communication. Okay. And again, we people use words in two ways. Okay. So what is these two ways in which we people use words? First is when we people use oral communication. So that time we people use this words, and another is written communication. So in written also we people use words and we people communicate. So that is verbal communication. If you understand this verbal communication, then non-verbal communication will be what? Tell me. What will be non-verbal communication? If verbal communication is the communication with the help of words, so non-verbal will be communication. Reply me. Without words. Okay, so what kind of communication it will be? It will be without words. Is it audible? ऐकायला येते का आवाज?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So pay attention. So the communication in which we people do not use words. So if we are not going to use words, then how do we communicate then? How do we communicate then?
Body movement,
Yes, yes, you're right.
expression.
Yes, facial expressions, body movements, and there are so many things that we need to use our whole body for communication. And there is combination of these two communication, verbal communication as well as non-verbal communication. So you cannot communicate with the help of only words. Maybe you can communicate, but it may not be effective. Suppose that if you are just face to face, or you are using your cameras right now, I cannot use my camera. Okay, but if you are able to use it, or if you are face to face, if you are physically in front of each other, only words are not going to help you a lot. You people need to understand that with words you people need to use your body as well. So how you can use your body? How you can use your body language, I will say, or how you can use non-verbal communication? So that non-verbal communication can convey a lot of information about you. So how is your mood? We people generally try to understand how is the person, what is happened with that person. We can understand from the face of that person. That person need not to tell you anything, but still you understand that whether he is happy, whether he is angry, whether he is sad, whether he is excited, whether he is eager. Do you understand such things? Can you identify the feelings of people? Are you able to understand the people's mood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can. Because if we see the face आणि जर असे तोंडावरती 12 वाजलेले असतील, then we understand something might have happened. So might be some let's say sad incident might have happened. Okay, and then face tells. If you are having a smile on your face, it tells you're happy, and then we may try to guess the reason behind the happiness. So something like this. So your face communicates a lot. And not only face, but apart from that, there are other body movements also that tell you about how you are. So what kind of personality you are, whether you are arrogant, whether you are polite, whether you are just eager, whether you are in a need, or whether you are just showing attitude. Everything can be understood from your body language. So you people need to learn a positive body language. So there are different two ways of body language. We people can say positive body language as well as negative body language. So positive body language, where you people are using your body language for the purpose of, let's say you are facing interview. So
you are helping interviewers to identify their needs, and accordingly you are behaving. That will be positive body language. So you are using facial expressions, you are wearing a smile on your face, you're showing that you are very eager and enthusiastic, energetic, and you're maintaining eye contact, all those things. And what could be negative body language that may affect your interview? So suppose that you are sitting in front of interview and असं खूप मोठ्या मोठ्याने तुम्ही जांभळ्या द्यायला लागला. So what that people will think? Immediately you people will be just asked to leave the room, or they may just reject you, because this is not a positive body language. If you are just sitting in the chair in a relaxed way, you are relying back, so that is also not a good sign of body language. Or just say you are just playing with your fingers, you are just playing with some ring which is in your finger, or you are just not looking at them, you're just looking down, or you may be playing with your nails, or you may be just playing scratching your head. Such negative body language will tell that you are not professional, you don't have etiquettes or manners, and they will reject you. So non-verbal communication is the communication where you people are not going to use words, but it will help you. Let's try to understand that this non-verbal communication will help you for your oral communication, for your interview, let's say. So there should be combination of this verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Your body language and your oral communication should help to prove that what quality, what knowledge, and what type of candidate you are, that will be conveyed with the help of this. And in this, we people will try to understand that how you should just uh, face the interview. So first of all, we are going to talk about posture. So what is the posture? So posture is nothing but, let's say, position. So the way you, let's say, stand, okay, the way you sit, or the way you walk. So that defines your posture. Imagine a situation where you are waiting outside the interview room and now it is your turn. Okay, so you people are going inside the, let's say, interview room. So first of all, you are going to knock on the door. So that is also a proper method to knock on the door. That shows your personality. If you are knocking with your, let's say, ring finger, that you have to knock 3 times on the door, and it should not be with your palm. If you are just knocking with the help of your palm, that is not a good sign, not a good, let's say, manners or etiquettes. So you have to knock on the door, then it will attract their attention. They will, then you have to ask them, may I come in, sir? You have to be polite in your voice and tone. So tone of voice is also one of the parameters of your body language. If you're saying, may I come in, sir? So that will show that you're ordering them. So you are just not taking permission, you're not polite. So that tone of voice decides whether you're polite, whether you're humble, and you're using courteous language or not. So you have to be polite, you have to ask, may I come in, sir? Or if it is, may I come in, ma'am? Something like this. And then they will allow you, yes, you come in, something like this, or they'll say come in. Then your entry in the room will decide that how you're walking. Then when you reach to the place or in front of table, you have to wait there. Don't immediately go inside the interview room and sit on the chair which is provided for you. So you have to wait there until they ask you, please have a seat or take your seat, something like that. They will say. So the distance from the door to the chair that you're walking, they are observing you how you're walking. Also, they'll try to understand whether you're lifting your feet up or you're dragging them on surface, something like this. And then when you sit in the chair, so that time they will observe you how you're sitting. So you have to sit in a proper way. You should not use table for support, you should not lean on the desk. Okay, so you have to follow proper posture when you are sitting in front of the interviewers. So here it says, sit erect without leaning on the desk. So how you should sit? You should sit straight. You should sit erect. don't lean forward, don't take help of the table for sitting. Maybe when you are in hotel, so that time perhaps, or you are at other place, or you are in informal situation. So if you are sitting in front of table, you may lean on the table, but for the interview you have to sit straight. Don't take help of just that table. Don't put your knees on that, or don't cross your legs in front of the interviewer. So don't lean on the desk or slouching in the chair. So what is slouching in the chair? So the way you are sitting in a relaxed way, that is slouching. You're bending down your shoulders, and let's say you are in a relaxed mode, so that is slouching in the chair. So don't slouch in the chair, but don't be stiff and tense. So as I told you that you have to sit erect, sit straight. It necessarily does not mean that you have to be too stiff, too erect. That will look odd. That will be not proper. So you don't be overacting here. So don't do overacting here, and don't be intense also. Tense means don't be again having fear or a lot of let's say nervousness is there, and you people can be again, it can be observed by the interviewer. Okay, so just 1 minute. Okay, all right, we'll continue. So you follow some tips about posture. Again, in case of posture, if you're standing, stand straight. If you're sitting, sit straight. If you're walking, walk properly. That care you people will take about when you're facing interviewer first time. Then next you people have to take care. It is about making an eye contact. This is also very important. Okay. So somebody reply me. Are you getting it? Is it visible, audible, everything fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Pay attention.
Yes.
Good. So making eye contact is also very much important in interview. Not in interview, don't take this is for interview, but everywhere, in every communication situation, you people have to make eye contact. Maybe you're talking with your teachers, maybe you're talking with let's say in your family members, with your family members, you're talking with, let's say, your classmates, you're talking with anybody. Yes, Swati, anything? Roll number 1, Swati Ambule. Is it audible to you? Do you want to say something? Are you paying attention? See, your voice is not audible, Swati. Any difficulty?
No, sir.
Then pay attention and don't keep your mic open unnecessarily. So I was talking about making an eye contact, and it is not only for interview, but every time that you are having communication. So how to make an eye contact? I think that I have told it earlier also. So when you people are in speaker's role, means when you are speaking, so that time you have to maintain eye contact with your audience. Okay, so it may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Suppose that if there are many people who are listening you, that time with everybody you have to make an eye contact. As far as interview is concerned, if there is only one interviewer, you have to maintain eye contact with him. And if there, let's say there is panel, let's say there are 2, 3, 4, or 5 members who are asking you questions, you have to maintain eye contact with each one of them. You should not only you should not look at only one member and you are neglecting others. You shouldn't do this. So as your speaker, you have to maintain eye contact with your listeners. And in another situation, when you are listener, in that case, you people have to maintain eye contact with your speakers. Okay, so people try to maintain eye contact with your speaker. So when he is speaking, so that time you people try to look at him and try to understand. So what happens when you maintain eye contact? First thing, you understand everything. If you're listener, you understand everything of the speaker. And if you're speaker, in that case, you can check that whether your audience understands you or not, or simply you're just speaking but you understand. If they don't understand, then there is no use talking with them. So you people just try to understand that you are maintaining eye contact with them. Then apart from these things, eye contact shows if you're maintaining eye contact, or we'll think of interview. If you're maintaining eye contact, it will show that you're confident. First of all, it shows you're confident. Okay. So that whether you're confident or not, if you're maintaining eye contact, that will show yes, you're confident. Then apart from that, if you're just maintaining eye contact, then it will show that you have knowledge. Your knowledge will be seen. Okay. So that will be also conveyed if you're maintaining eye contact. And on the other hand, now imagine if you're not maintaining eye contact. If you're not maintaining eye contact, it will be negative sign of body language. Okay. It will make negative impression. It will show that you are shy. You are shy. Okay. Or you are nervous. You are lying. Another meaning of not maintaining eye contact, that you're not speaking the truth, or you have fear, you're nervous, you're not prepared. So these negative meanings will be conveyed to the interviewers if you're not maintaining eye contact. So always make an eye contact with your interviewer when you are speaking, and when you're listening also. I have told you, when you're a speaker, you have to maintain eye contact with the interviewer. If you are listening, if they're asking you, you have to maintain eye contact with your speaker as well. But another thing you people have to avoid, what you have to avoid? Continuous staring. If you're continuously looking at the person, again, that will be negative meaning. That will show that you're angry with that person. म्हणजे एखाद्यासोबत जर भांडण वगैरे झालं असेल, किंवा त्याच्याकडे आपण रागाने बघत असेल, तर आपण असं कंटिन्युअस टक लावून बघतो की नाही. सो दॅट हॅज टू बी अवॉइडेड. So that is, continuous staring should be avoided. You should not continuously stare. You continuously don't look at that person's eye. So you can follow these tips as far as your body language is concerned. Then next, don't use too many hand movements and frequent change of facial expressions not in relation to words you have expressed. Now you people will take care about your let's say gesture. So what is gesture? Gesture is the movements of your hands or legs. So that is gesture. So you shouldn't use too many hand movements. Some people have a habit. Sometimes they raise their hands. Sometimes they extend their hands this way, that way, and they're trying to show too much hand movements. So these too much hand movements, they are going to show your overacting. So don't do overacting. But if it is necessary, as per the situations, as per the words that you people are going to use, related to that, you people can change the movements of your hands, and if it is required, then you can change the facial expressions also. So you should not change too many facial expressions, that frequently you're showing some signs, you're stretching your face, you're just again just showing some emotions on your face which are not related to the words you are using. That will be again seen that you are overacting here. So don't be overacting, don't try to be smart, but be natural and try to use your facial expressions. Better will be, I will say, a smile is the best way. So people have to wear a smile on your face throughout the interview, because that smile will show that you are happy, eager, enthusiastic. Okay, so smile has to be there on your face throughout the interview. So you people take care about this, that you will follow some tips regarding this body language. Okay, so is it clear to you?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, fine. Then we people will talk about your appearance. So one is that body language, another is your dress outlook, or we call it appearance. So appearance means the way you look. Appearance means how you're looking. So looking means, it is not that you have to worry a lot of about your appearance in this way, about your, let's say, height or color, or let's say maybe hairstyle, something like this. So some things are naturally, we cannot change it. So you people have to think of the things that you people are wearing. So in case of dress, you have choice. So you people have to choose formal dress. So it says dress formally and well groomed. So what do you mean by dress formally? So you shouldn't wear something that is casual, that is informal, or that is party wear. So in case of dress, dress should be formal. You should not try jeans, t-shirts, or casual wears also. In case of girls also, you people take care that whatever you are wearing on the day of interview, it has to be formal. And in well groomed indicates that you people have to take care in tomorrow's interview. So in case of a male candidate, you should have a good haircut. In case of shaving, you have to clean shave. If you're keeping beard, it should be trimmed. uh, then in case of accessories, let's say you have to choose formal belt, then tie, then shoes. So these things you people have to choose formal. And then next, if it is female candidates, then in that case you people also have to think about your hairstyle. Then you people have to think about jewelry that you are going to wear on the day of interview. Then you people have to think about your makeup also, that should be light makeup. And apart from that, you people, these are small things, but they are going to have impact. Lipsticks and all those things and everything that you people have to take care. Apart from that, you people have also think about the accessories like purse, or let's say watches, or let's say uh, anything like shoes, or anything that you are going to wear, that has to be formal. So well groomed, you have to be well groomed. A dress should be pressed or ironed properly. So these things you people have to take care, because all these things are going to make your impression. So your first impression will be your appearance. If your appearance is well, then of course next impression will be about your knowledge and everything. But see, as far as your appearance is not well, in that case your knowledge and all those things are going to not matter there. So therefore, first of all, work on these things. So it rightly said that you will never get a second chance to make a good impression, because this first impression will decide that what kind of personality you are. So try to work on your appearance a little bit. You people try to be, let's say, formal and groomed there. Nails should be cut properly. Again, small things are there, but you people have to work on it. And take this opportunity to create a positive impression by your appearance. Then next point, it says wear something that make you feel comfortable. Okay, so maybe any dress that many students, what they do, they try something new on that day. They think that today is my interview, so perhaps they might have bought one new dress from the market, from the shop, and they're going to try it on the day of interview first time. So if you're going to try it first time, there may be problem. That dress may not fit you properly and you may not feel comfortable. So don't try new dress, but already you might have tried it, and the dress in which you feel comfortable, that dress you people have to wear. Or if it is uniform, as far as placement, college placements are concerned, there is a separate uniform for students. So that uniform you people can try. As far as college placements are concerned, if you're trying on your own, if you're it is off campus, in that case you can choose any dress. But if you're in at college, at that time you people have to wear college uniform. College uniform in the sense which is uniform, which is set by the training and placement office for the placement. So that uniform you people can try. Then next, I think that I have already told you about this. Use simple accessories like simple jewelry, watches, ties, shoes, belts, etc. that you are going to wear on that day. Then next point is very important. As far as many of us, we are very much habited, or let's say we have habit of using scents and perfumes. Okay, but I will recommend here, don't use scents or perfumes at the time of interview, because what you have or what you like, maybe the next person may dislike. So there are some students who are using strong perfumes and scents. So some people don't like strong perfumes or strong scents. So it may be irritating, or it may be just annoying to the interviewer that if you are having strong perfumes, and it may create problem for your interview. So don't use scents or perfumes. If you're using, it should be light. You shouldn't use much. Again, there is another thing that for male candidates, after shaves lotions, so don't try to use if it is smelling strongly. Don't use it. They have to be avoided. So these things, you people try to take care about your dress and outlook as far as you people are going to face your interview. That will just spoil your interview, spoil your impression. So don't try such things here. So is it clear about dress and outfit? Anything?
Yes, sir.
Anything that you would like to add? You can ask a question or you can add points also. Then we people will go to the next slide. And again, on next slide here, some qualities which are expected in a candidate. So when you are going to face an interview, so that time it will just the recruiters will look in a particular candidate whether you have these qualities or not. So first of all, it says effective verbal communication. So what is this effective verbal communication? I already told you verbal communication is the pure oral communication in simple words. Okay. So your oral communication is going to be considered, or it will be evaluated how much you are good in communication, and it is always in English. Try to understand whatever the interview you are going to face, it will be in English. Okay. And many of the students, or their problem is that English communication only. So you people can just try to improve your oral communication, English communication, with the help of your friends. Try to communicate with them every day. Try to discuss something with them. Try to ask them some questions, or let's answer some questions which are asked by your friends. This way, people try to improve your English communication. And if it is English language, that has to be without empty influence. So what is this empty influence? Empty means your mother tongue. Okay. So people have to avoid, suppose that if you're speaking English, then you people have to understand that your mother tongue has some influence. So it has to be avoided. If you're speaking English, and if there is influence of your mother tongue, it has to be avoided. So you need to bring fluency in English. With practice, you people can bring that fluency in English. So let's try to understand that your mother tongue and English language, they're not same in structure. Okay, there's differences. So what is the structure of English when we people try to use some sentences in English? So what happens? First of all, we people use subject. Then there is verb. Okay, and then there is object or complement, something like this in English, in case of English. Okay, but in case of mother tongue, let's say consider example of Marathi, we people will take here. So what happens? Structure of sentences like this. First of all, there is subject. Okay, and then we people try to use object or complement, and at the end there is verb in mother tongue. You people can check. Okay, so that makes problem for students, that it may confuse you, or there might be mistakes that may happen if you are going to translate some thoughts from your mother tongue into English. So don't try to translate, but try to think in English, try to speak in English, and improve your English this way. Then next point we people will see here, that says it should be natural delivery. There should be fluency. I already told you about that. You need to bring fluency as far as your English is concerned. Fluency means what? Without hesitating, without taking more time, without just taking. There are some students while speaking English, they have like this. They take a lot of time. They have to think about words. They have to think about the sentence, and then a lot of times they take like this. Uh, 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 they take pauses like this. So that does not mean fluency, but with practice you can bring fluency in your communication. And whatever you're speaking, it should sound natural. It should not be felt somewhere that you're with a lot of difficulty you're trying to speak English. Okay, so that care you people can take. So naturally try to speak English. Then next point is this, that pronounce sentence clearly. Okay, I think that in unit number 1 we people have talked about this. Pronunciation is very much important as far as English language is concerned. There are so many words that their spelling is totally different and their pronunciation is totally different. You need to learn about pronunciation. You can check the pronunciation of the word into dictionary, or you can listen and you can try to understand and improve your pronunciation. As far as whatever you are going to say, if it is understood, that will be okay. But as far as your cross cultural communication is concerned, or your communication with foreign clients is concerned, in that case it is going to become difficult. Okay, imagine that you are going to work in a multinational company. Let's say you are going to communicate the people who are from, let's say, America or England or Japan or Canada, Australia, something like this. So in that case, what you're saying, it has to be clear to the people from that country. And if your pronunciations are not clear, in that case, these people will not understand. As far as all we people are from same background, let's say we people are from Maharashtra, and all we people speak the same mother tongue, and we people have let's say having same accent as well. So there is no difficulty. If your pronunciation is not that much clear, we people will try to understand it because our cultural background is same. But if you're going to communicate with a person who is having different cultural background, let's say there are some people who are from south of India, or there are some people who are from north of India, or let's say from east of India. So that time these people may find it difficult to understand your English, or you may find to understand their English as well. Same as I told you, that if you're going to communicate with foreign peoples, that is going to be difficult. But if your pronunciations are clear, in that case there will be no difficulty, whether you are going to communicate with, let's say, south of India, north of, east of, or you're going to communicate with foreign clients, there will be no problems if your pronunciations are clear. So try to pronounce sentences clearly. Then that is also, we people have talked about that tone of our voice is also a powerful weapon that you people can use. So you people can increase your voice to drag their attention, to draw the attention of the people towards you. So if you increase your voice, everybody will look at you. Or you can do opposite also. You can lower your voice and you can just attract their attention. So sometimes you may take pause also. I think that while discussing second unit group discussion, I have told you that you can increase your voice, you can speak loudly, you can speak slowly in low voice also, so that other people may look at you, or you can draw their attention towards you. So you can use this in interview also. Suppose that you want to make an important point or remark or opinion, so that time you can use this technique. You can increase your voice or you can decrease your voice and try to draw their attention towards you. Okay, so is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we people will go to the next slide, and on the next slide we people will try to understand that when the candidates get rejected, why they get rejected. Okay, rejected by the committees or rejected by the interviewers. So why the candidates get rejected in spite of preparing that much, or maybe you have taken a lot of efforts, and still if you're getting rejection, so what could be the reason? Let's try to understand why the candidates get rejected. So first of all, it says if you're giving vague answers, or if you're giving irrelevant answers. So what is vague? Vague answer means something which is not clear. Okay, so vague means something which is not clear. So what you're talking is not clear. They are not understanding. You're trying to say, maybe from your side, you're trying to tell it clearly, but from the committee side, from the interviewer side, they are not understanding you. In that case, it is vague. And the answer that you are giving, if it is not clear to them, they'll think of rejecting you. And it may happen for 2-3 questions, 2-3 answers you are giving in a vague manner in that case. So whatever you are saying, it has to be very clear to yourself as well as to the interviewers also. Okay. आपण जे सांगतोय ते जर कळालंच नसेल तर there is no point in just answering that question. Okay, so be clear. First of all, I will say be clear. Okay, then second is irrelevant answers. What is it? Irrelevant answer. It means that question is asked that what you can do for our company, or how you can contribute for our company. So this is question asked by the interviewer, and there you're talking about that you have completed this course, and it was very interesting course, something like this. So question is something and you're answering something, so your answer is going to become irrelevant, or it is not to the point. So in that case, you people may get rejected. So you have to be clear, you have to talk to the point, your answer should be clear, and you people first of all try to understand the questions, and if you understand question, then answer the question as per the point of view. So this is the one reason. If you're going to talk unclear, if you're going to talk irrelevant, you will be rejected. Then second, very fidgety. So fidgety means what? It is your body language that shows your a lot of intention, worried, anxiety, fear is there, nervousness is there, you are restless. Fidgety means restless. And because of this, you're maintaining a little eye contact. You're not looking at the interviewer. You're looking down, or you're looking here, or you're looking there, or you're looking at the ceiling, something like this. You're not maintaining eye contact. So that time it shows that you're not confident, you're lying, and you're not prepared, something like this. So if you're not maintaining or little eye contact, then you people will be rejected. Then there is nervous mannerism. So what is nervous mannerism? Nervous mannerism means that there is a lot of fear, and that fear has been has seen on your face. Your body language shows that you're a lot of afraid, nervous, fear, and maybe you are sweating, and you're not able to answer questions properly, and because of this fear, you're playing with hair. What you're doing, you're just pulling your hairs on your forehead, or you may be just trying to just uh, scroll your hairs, something like this, or you may be doing nail biting there. Okay, so in front of interviewer, you're just putting your nails into mouth and you're biting them, and maybe you are playing something on the table, so there is pen in your hand and you're putting that pen into on the table and you're playing with that pen, or you are playing with something like you're scratching your head, or you're just crossing your legs and something like this. Okay, so this shows that uh, you are not having the manners etiquettes, or you're having fear, nervousness, something like this, and that will affect your interview. Then next is lack of sincerity. So what is lack of sincerity? If you are not sincere, immediately you people will be getting rejected. So suppose that you are talking rudely, arrogantly, you're sitting with crossing your legs in front of interviewer, or you're not following manners, etiquettes. In that case, nobody, no employer will want such candidates who are talking arrogantly, who are, you may be clever, you may be technically sound, you may be just good in communication also, but your behavior decides that you are not respecting people, you are not sincere, you are not polite, your language is not polite. In that case, you people will be rejected. So be polite, be sincere at the time of interview, try to show them that you are sincere. Then next reason that the candidates gets rejected, it is because of that they utter superficial remarks to impress the interviewer. Okay, so what do you mean by uttering superficial remarks? you're answering such a question that in fact you don't have any knowledge, but still you are trying to show that you have a lot of knowledge. Okay, so such remarks are called superficial remarks. So don't try to uh, just utter superficial remarks. If you don't know answers, in that case, you have to admit it. Or if you know little bit, you try to explain that much only. Here example is given about project work. So in fact, you don't have any idea how that project works, or you have not done any work or project. Your other group members might have done project, and you're boasting there. You're telling them that I have worked this project and this thing, something like this. Okay, so you people can think of this also. So don't utter any superficial remarks, or just if you don't have deep knowledge, don't try to show that you have deep knowledge. So these things you people will take care, so that you may not be getting rejection. And you people will prepare, you people will take care that everything is clear, everything is relevant, there is no any fear, nervousness, and you are having sincerity or politeness, humble, and whatever you are saying, it is as per your knowledge. Okay, so if you are taking care, you will not be rejected. So that much for today. We people are going to stop here today. So let's ensure that attendance, and we people will stop here today. Any question as far as whatever we have done? काय अडचण वगैरे आहे का? Okay, all right. So give attendance. I will call roll numbers today. Roll number 1,
Present, sir.
2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6,
Present, sir.
7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9,
Present, sir.
10, 10 absent, 11, 11 absent, 12,
Hello, sir.
yes,
11 present, sir.
12 absent, 13, 14, 15 is there, 16, 17 is there, 18. Are you there, 18? 18 absent. Then 19 is there. 20, 21, are you there? 20, 21 absent. 24. 31, are you there? 31. 37. 39. 40. 44. 53. 55. 56. 59. 'Okay, so absent numbers are 10, 12, then 20, 18, 20, 21, 24, 31, 37, 39, 44, 53, 56, 59, 62. If anybody is present out of this, you just tell me you're present. Okay. So should we stop here? Should I end this meeting from my side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we'll stop here. We'll meet in next class. Thank you for joining today.